Hey, you're listening to the Reasons Podcast. Sit back, relax, and enjoy.
What's up, people, and welcome back to the Reasons Podcast. I'm your host, rilewa.razzaq, and here we are in the full flow of Season 2. And guys, today we're going to talk about saying goodbye, as the title told you. But today it's an emotional day for me, man. You know, I was downstairs, I was eating my breakfast, and one of my friends, Will, he reminded me that today is our last home game, our last home basketball game at the University of Nottingham. And it hit me, and I was actually like sad. Like, it wasn't like how do I put it? It wasn't like oh my God, I'm so shocked, blah, 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 because like it's near the end of the year or near the end of the season. But I was just sad, like I was overcome with just a bit of emotion. And I was like, you know, I've been meaning to make a video or a podcast or a Substack for a while about goodbyes and loss and stuff. And I was like, oh, it's the perfect moment to do that, because I actually have an example, a very raw example, because it's literally today. But yeah, today is the last day that I will play a home game at the University of Nottingham. It's so crazy to say that, because it's been 4 years and I hadn't thought about it for quite a while. Like, I hadn't thought about what the last game would be like. And the thing is, we have games after this. We have a game next week and the week after. And then we have varsity, which is at home, but that's more of an exhibition game. Like, it's not a league match like today. But yeah, like, it really puts into perspective the fact that it's like actually all coming to an end soon. And it's weird because our second semester only just started, so there's still quite a lot of uni left. But brother, I'm not here for uni. Like, fuck out of that, bro. I'm here to play ball. You know what I mean? And yeah, it's really like coming to an end, which is nuts. But I hate saying goodbye. Like, goodbye is like, losing things is tough for me personally. It's like, actually, I find like my fear of loss is more rational than most, or it's definitely stronger than most people that I talk to about the same thing. And I've probably spoken about this in episodes past. But yeah, like, one of those biggest fears of mine, or one of my biggest fears, is losing people, things, activities, you know. I kind of like stuff how they are, especially when life is good. Like, basketball's been really good this year. So when something is good, I just want it to stay like that. You know, I don't want it to, because if it goes, it's like, what is anything going to be as good? Do you know what I mean? So, you know, I have that kind of fear of like building things up, like putting lots of time and effort into things that are good just for them to go. And I think that stems from personal experience. I think that's why lots of people's experiences with loss is quite different, because I've actually not lost that much in my life per se. Like, I've probably, like, for example, touch wood, I'm literally slamming my desk right now. None of the people in my family have passed away. Like, none of my immediate family or anyone that I actually have known has passed away in my life. Like, grandmas and grandpas and blah, blah, blah. So I don't really know what that's like. But the loss that I've had has been like quite intense, and like while I was quite young, which makes you think, actually, because there have probably been people who care a lot less about loss, who have actually lost more people on more occasions than me. But because all of the experiences I've had happened when I was quite young and in such an intense manner, like the two main ones that I, you know, could give you as examples are when my dad left, I was like 9, I think. Yeah. Or 8. And when I moved to Norwich, I was 14. And obviously, like, a whole parent going away is quite an intense way to lose somebody, or it's an intense loss, if that makes sense. And then moving from London to Norwich is also quite intense. And the reason I say this is because the way it happened was kind of nuts. I don't know if I've said it in another episode, but I literally was walking home. And this is the thing, me and my mum go back and forth about this all the time. Like, she is convinced that she told us, oh, hey guys, we're going to move, blah, blah. maybe I was in denial and was just ignoring all of that, but I swear to you, I didn't know. She might have told me, but I didn't know. Like, I believed that we weren't going anywhere. And I'm coming home from school and I walk into my room. I had football training. I walk into my room and all my stuff's just gone. Like, everything is just gone. Like, it's this big van outside the house. I was like, oh, that's for the neighbor or something, right? Honestly, that's how much I was convinced that we weren't going anywhere, that I thought the van was for someone else. I walk in and everything is gone. I'm like, bro, where's my football shoes? He said, oh, I put them in first. You're not getting them. I said, oh my God, bro, it's over. It's so over. So that was quite intense as well, because obviously I hadn't prepared to say goodbye to anybody, right? Nobody knew that I was leaving. And this was like a Tuesday or something like that. So the next day was the day we were leaving, and I had to say goodbye to all of my friends and stuff the morning after. So like I went to school early and had to tell all my friends on like people, hey, like I'm gone as of today, as in like there's no, oh, let's do something on the weekend, celebrate. No, like I'm going today. Like the car is loaded and everything. So that was pretty tough. And it was like a period in my life where things were like really good. Like I remember year 7 and 8 at my school were a bit like, I didn't know anybody when I went to the school and stuff. So I was getting to know people, trying to get involved in stuff. And by the time like year 9 and 10 came around, like school was fun. Like I loved going into school. Like I was running for the bus so that I could have like 15 more minutes like before school started, blah, 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 all of this rubbish, right? And it meant that school was really fun. And I just joined a football team that I'd always wanted to play for with my friends from primary school. And I just started like properly getting into basketball and stuff. And for it to all go was so rough. And I think if that all happened now, it would be easier. But because, like I said, I was young, like it had such a massive impact on me, like kind of my personality. Because before all of that, like I was like naturally extroverted. Like I think I am naturally, like if you just put me in, like if you just shoved me in a random country and like removed all my memories or whatever, like I'd probably go out and start talking to people. Like I was always loud in class, decided that I wanted to be class clown, blah, blah, blah. You know, that guy that's just loud in class, that was me, right? I wanted to have friends. I wanted to impress people, especially when I was younger. And like, bro, I used to want to be the fastest so the girls would like me. I wanted to throw, like, you know, you do tennis ball throw, like javelin throw, like with the little nerve thingy. I used to take so much pride in being good and tell everybody I was good, because like I wanted people to know that kind of thing. I wanted to be popular. And as I've grown up and had like those kinds of intense experiences of loss, I've kind of cultivated, relative to like what I'm normally like or what I'm probably naturally like, a relatively introverted personality, at least like outwardly, right? Those who know me well and like are close friends of mine will know that I have moments of like just complete and utter extroversion where like I'm actually just being an idiot, right? And probably most introverts have that as well, but I think that's when I feel most natural, and that's why I love my close friends, because I feel normal, right? It doesn't feel like the way that I am is being affected by anything that's happened to me or like happened in my life. Like I feel like I'm just being regular, right? But people who've never met me before and like just see me in class now or see me in a seminar or in like a group of mine and we're doing work might think I'm naturally introverted just because of the way that, like the way that I've cultivated a new, not new personality, but like the way that I kind of protect myself from certain things now. And I think that's why I don't ever want to say goodbye, right? Because I don't want to be outward and build like these super fulfilling relationships, because I know what it's like to have to say bye to them, if that makes sense. I know what it's like to have something really nice and really cool and have it just not be there anymore. And I think that's why it's had such an intense effect on me, is because of like the way in which it happened. Like I remember one of like my best friend in primary school, he moved from, like I was from South London, he moved to North London, and that was like, it was tough, but it wasn't that bad, right? Because it wasn't that intense. Like we still like saw each other, like it wasn't that nuts, right? Whereas when like you're like a parent moves from England to Nigeria, or when you move from London to Norwich, and these are like intense things that you can't really do anything about. Like, what am I going to go to Nigeria? Like, I'm not going anywhere, right? And even when I moved to Norwich, like I couldn't go back to London that often. So these are quite intense losses where like it's almost like an absolute loss, like a total loss. Because as much as like these people didn't die, in the confines of what I felt day to day, it was like they were gone because I wouldn't see them and I didn't have the opportunity to. So that's why I don't want to build these like super fulfilling relationships, because like I convinced myself that the saying goodbye is relatively worse than having the relationship is relatively good, if that makes sense. So it's like, if I meet somebody in my class and I'm like, oh, this person's cool, sometimes I'll be like, oh, I don't do all of this like thinking process in my head, but like I'm sure maybe some of you kind of get it as well, where you don't want to talk to them because you don't want to be really good friends with them because you don't know how long it's going to last, right? And that way of thinking is so stinky, bro. It is so bad. And it annoys me when I do it, because like I know it is stupid and it's an irrational way of thinking, and it stands to get in the way of so much, right? Like somebody said to me the other day, I say the other day, bro, my friend Seth has got me, the last like couple of years he's got me doing this thing where I say the other day, but I actually mean like a month ago or something like that, which is so stupid, but whatever. The other day, someone said to me that you should celebrate that you were able to have something instead of be upset that it's gone. And I feel like that's a pretty well-known saying. Like most people probably know this, but I think this is the first time I'd ever heard it, and I was like, damn, that makes so much sense to me. I love that they said that, because we were kind of talking about the fact that I think we're both, I don't remember who told me, but it's probably someone else that's also leaving uni this year, or leaving not in this year. And it made me feel a bit better about it, because it was like, oh, I don't have to be sad it's gone. I can just be happy that I had to have it, because if it wasn't there, then what would I have had? If that makes sense. And about a week ago, I used that thinking. Like, I was thinking about the end of the year and all the people I'd have to say goodbye to. And I was like, yeah, but like, let's just be happy because we had it, instead of be upset that it's gone. But it's far easier to think a certain way once than make that way of thinking like just the norm, right? Especially when you have a deep-rooted fear of something, thinking that that thing is not scary is so hard. Like, you almost have to trick yourself to do that, and tricking yourself is often difficult because you are yourself. Like, who the hell are you tricking? Like, that's so tough, right? And in this case, I'm having a much harder time thinking of this last home game as a celebration of all of the basketball I've done, and instead seeing it as like, oh damn, this is sad, and it like acts as the beginning, even though we still have like 3-4 games left, the beginning of like a really tough goodbye. And I'm gonna be honest, that's so shit. Like, it's so shit because I know how to think about it and be positive about it, but it's like my mind is just not letting me do it. But I'm determined, guys, I'm determined to not see it that way. Like, I often see, like I said, goodbyes are so difficult, but that's because I don't know what's going to happen when the thing's gone, right? So like, I train on Monday, train on Friday, play on Wednesday, and my mind thinks, what the hell am I going to do on Wednesday? Like, on a Wednesday, that's basketball day, like that's game day. Or Monday night, 8 o'clock, like, I'm at Jubilee Sports Centre training 2.5 hours every single week. Friday, 7 to 9, every single week. You know, and if that's gone, what the hell am I going to do? And it's the uncertainty that makes it difficult, because you're like, this thing is so good. I can't imagine doing anything I can't imagine doing anything else in this time. And I like doing this thing in this time. So what the hell am I going to do instead? And the answer, the rational answer, here I'm basically just talking to myself and telling myself, the rational answer is I'll just find something else. Like, before I played basketball, on Monday nights, I did something and I probably enjoyed that thing. On Friday nights, I did something and I probably enjoyed that thing. So I will find something else to do. Like, there's no fear, like there shouldn't be, at least rationally, there shouldn't be any fear that 8 to 10:30 every Monday after I leave, that I'm just going to be sitting in my room staring at a wall. Like, that's not going to happen. That's not going to be how my life ends up. And yeah, I might not know what it is now, but there will be something else. There'll be a new person, a new hobby, a new passion, something else that will fill that. And that will be something that I also at some point don't want to say goodbye to. You know, I can't think of what I used to do on Friday nights, but whenever I stopped doing that to come to uni, I would have been upset to say goodbye to that thing as well. So there isn't really a need for me to be like all scared, like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do in this time? Is it going to be worse? Because I'm going to enjoy that thing and I'm going to be upset to say goodbye to it. But the problem is you can't say, or you can't find that new thing unless you say goodbye to what you have right now. Right? Like, you have to allow yourself to find those things. And that's where the whole "we need to" part of the title comes in. Like, if I'm willing to say bye to basketball at this university and just decide to come back for another master's year, like I do a different course, or I decide, oh, let me just lock in and do 3 years of a PhD so I can play, I won't be allowing myself to find the next thing, because I'm just trapping myself in what I think is good right now. And after all, I only found basketball here after quitting football. Like, I didn't want to quit football. When I came to uni, I was like, I'm going to play football here. And when I was in the team, I was like, yeah, this is cool. And I could only find basketball after deciding to say goodbye to football. Like, if I was going to enjoy basketball was totally uncertain to me. Like, I didn't play much before. I still am far better at football than basketball. So if I was, you know, that was maybe the most uncertain thing of this entire transition to uni, is that I was going to go from doing something that I'm good at to something that I don't even know if I can bounce the ball, bro. Like, I didn't know how good I was going to be. And here I am now, being all upset that I have to say bye to that thing. I only found it because I said bye to the previous thing, right? So the answer to this whole like emotional day, or I don't really know what I'm going to do, is to tap back into myself, like go back to that childish version of me. And this is one thing that me and Jamie, who was on episode 2 of season 1, we always say to each other, that's my boy, we always say that you need to find that like inner child in yourself, like that really childish, I don't care about thinking too much, basically just don't overthink. Like, go back to how you are as a kid, because when you're a kid, you just do whatever you want, right? You just be yourself. And as much as when you're adults, or when you are an adult, you have to think a bit more, you have to be a bit more rational because you have responsibilities. When it comes to finding that extra thing or finding the next thing, you just have to tap back into yourself. So I've got to go back to that extra version that landed me all the wonderful things that I have to say goodbye to, in order to find new things to say goodbye to. You know, that's why we have to be okay with saying goodbye, because if you're not, you don't allow yourself to be yourself, to find things, new things that you then want to say goodbye to. After all, there's only so many master's degrees that I could do. I could do what? Another 3 years of a PhD. I could do a master's. I could have 5 years. And then at the end of that, I have to say goodbye. And at that point, you're probably not even saying goodbye on your own terms. You're being forced out. And in my experiences of being forced to lose stuff, that isn't the best type of goodbye. Like, you're not saying goodbye on your own terms. Like, when my dad decided to leave, I had no say in it. When I moved to Norwich, I had no say in it. When I decided to stop football, that was all mine. That was all my choice. The transition was smooth. It was okay. Like, I was happy. Like, my football life was complete. And if you don't allow yourself to say goodbye, if you don't allow yourself to find new things, then eventually you're going to get forced out. Like, you're going to not be able to. Like, I can't play forever. You can't have a 40-year-old playing for UOM basketball, right? And I think that's why it's so tough to do, or a reason that it's so tough to do is because when you're competing with your mind, you might have all the answers, but you cannot put them into practice. And that's why you have those people who are the designated advice friend who never takes their own advice, because they know the stuff, right? They know what they should do. They know what makes sense and what's rational and what the solution to the problem is, but it's tough for them to actually implement it. And that's basically what I'm in right now. That's where I am. Like, I've just given you this whole, I don't even know how long we've been in it for. 20 minutes of explaining how to get over this emotion that I'm feeling right now. And I bet you when tip-off comes, I'll still be a bit emotional. I'll still be a bit, sad. And like I said, it's tough to change the way you think completely. Like, just because you know what it is, if something is so deep-rooted, it's hard, right? But there are steps, I guess. Like, I'm not going to change everything in one day, right? I'm not going to just be okay with saying goodbye in one day if the fear is so deep-rooted. It's like, you could be scared of spiders. You could have arachnophobia, yeah? And somebody could have a spider and tell you, bro, I hope arachnophobia is spiders and not snakes. Because if I've made a mistake here, now I feel like an idiot. Anyway, you can have a spider and someone tells you, bro, this thing is not poisonous. This is not going to do anything to you. This feels good when you hold it in your hand. All of this stuff, and you'll still be scared. You might have all of the evidence in the world to tell you something, but if you fundamentally believe something else, you might change your ways, but you won't drastically change them. You're not going to completely change them. And I think that's like a wider problem for most people, or just people in general. Not specific to any type of people or generation. I think it's just when you're so set in a way, changing that way can never be instant. It's never going to be smooth. It's never going to be without problems. Otherwise, everybody would be good at everything because they'd eventually get the evidence to say, oh, this is what you should do. And they just do it. So, yeah, that's my current situation. But there's so much more to look forward to, right? There's so much more than playing this game or losing playing this game at home or whatever that there's to look forward to. Like, I went to this meeting. What is it today? Wednesday? I went to this meeting on Monday with the TV Society. I know in the last episode I spoke about talking to them, that I was going to talk to them. And I had a chat and said, hey, look, this is what I'd like to do. Do you have any blah, 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 blah? Do you have any cool things? This is what I'm doing. Do you think you could fit it in? And they were like, yeah. Like, if I had decided to stay in this, I don't want to use the word trauma because it makes it far more deep than it is, but it's the only word I can think of. So I'm going to use it. If I had stayed in this trauma-induced introversion, I like that phrase. Sounds sophisticated. But if I had stayed in that introversion that's been caused by my fear of loss and stuff, then I would never have even shown up to the interview. Because don't get me wrong, on the day I was like, damn, I've only got a few months left of uni. I don't want this to be really good and then I just have to leave. But when you're childlike, you just do what you want. So I walked into the interview, said my piece, left the interview. It wasn't really an interview, it was kind of a meeting. And was happy. And if this ends up being really good, in like 4 months, I'm going to have to say bye. Like I won't be here after this year. So whatever happens is only going to be there for 3 months. But I'm trying not to think about it like that. You know, you've got to think about it like, what can you get from the time that you have it? So today when the game tips off, I can't think about, or I shouldn't, not that I can't, you can do whatever you want, but I can't think about it, or I shouldn't think about it. I just said the same thing. I shouldn't think about it like, oh my gosh, I only have 40 minutes left of a home game. But no, it's what can I do in this 40 minutes? Let's win the damn game, right? And I guess that's part of why I have this podcast, because there'll be somebody listening to this, and I remember talking about this a lot when I first started, that there's probably somebody listening to this who can resonate with what I'm saying, but even if there isn't, at least I can resonate with what I'm saying. You can have all the thoughts in the world of all the evidence that you've read online, read books, watched videos, but without having the conversation with yourself, it's actually kind of tough to put that evidence into practice. And yeah, that's why I was saying at the start that any of you that are thinking of doing a creative outlet, or having a podcast, or starting a YouTube channel, or drawing, or because there's so much you can do with art. There's so much you can do with art that speaks to each person differently, right? So I'm doing this module. I know I'm sidetracking, but I'm doing this module, right, called Arts and Society. And it's basically all these arts people, English, classics, history, blah, 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 all these artsy people, all on one module, talking about what arts can do in society. Like what do all of our disciplines like offer to society, and how can we implement them more? Or how can we make other people see the value in them? And some of the people on there are so interesting. Like, you've got people that I think English is, I don't like English literature, right? But the things that the people who do English can do with English is startling. It's like so interesting and cool, and it makes sense to them. Maybe not so much to me, but it makes sense to them. And that's why I would advise them to do something with it. When they have this dilemma that I'm having today, this emotional day, or this, I'm being faced with a fear of mine, one of my biggest fears, I come on and I philosophize, I talk, and I think about what the hell to do. They might write a story, a short story about somebody in a similar situation, and when they write the ending, they go, damn, okay, this is what it could end up being, or wow, this is how I'm supposed to deal with this trauma or this loss, or, you know, all of those kinds of things. Or somebody who does art, they could draw a picture, they could make a painting, they could do so much stuff. Or like my little brother, he makes music, and I'm going to be honest with you, this guy is cold as hell. He's cold as hell, man. The lyrics in his videos, in his music, I'm like, damn, you're literally just splitting out your life story. All of the things going on and all of the troubles and like the guy's dealing with his issues in his creative way, in his artistic way. And it's so cool. Like, anybody that has a creative outlet, has a artistic desire or passion, it really does help you deal with things. The way that I felt 30 minutes ago while I was writing down a couple of my ideas for what I was going to talk about, to now that I have actually spoke them out, is night and day. When I started recording, I was like, damn, am I going to be a bit too like mundane, and like, would I be able to sound like I'm a bit emotional or sad? And now I'm just happy. Like, I'm just proud of the 30 minutes of building or of growing that I've done. And that's all because of art. I wouldn't have been able to do it any other way. So, like I said, this goes back to what I was saying right at the start. And it's often nice to have episodes like this where, as much as the last episode I did talk about taking it more seriously and trying to make something of it, to have episodes like this where I'm actually just helping myself and helping other people who are listening, it kind of brings you full circle back to why you actually do it. Because as much as I would like this to be a big thing, I'm not doing it for it to be a big thing. Like, it's not why I started it. It's not why I think that it could be a big thing. Like, an artist who's going through an issue might draw or might make a painting to help them with it, and then go, damn, I'm really good at this, and say, okay, I want to sell my art now. And they start selling their art, or a writer and author decides to sell their novels, sell their books. But it's not why they started. I didn't start the podcast to sell it. The artist didn't start their painting to sell it. But they are selling it. And the fact that they can sell it while it still actually deals with the root problem, the thing that they actually started it for, is just fantastic. That's why I'm going to give it a go. If I could make a job out of solving my own problems, because that's what it would be. If I was able to have my own show and interview people and talk about issues as a job, I would essentially be working to help myself. So, like I said, to any of you having ideas, put them out. Don't be scared. Don't let your trauma-induced introversion... Come on, boy. That phrase is cold. I might coin that. I might copyright it. Don't let your trauma-induced introversion or your trauma-induced extroversion or anything that has affected you, that's changed you, don't let it get in the way of future endeavors or future ventures, because the child inside of you doesn't want that. And the child inside of you is often right, because it knows exactly what it wants. It doesn't do the overthinking. So that's all I've got for you guys. Kind of a tough episode. Not tough, but obviously not opening up. I guess it's opening up, like talking about things that are important to you that have affected you is actually kind of difficult, especially when you have trauma-induced introversion. But I feel like it's valuable. And one of my friends said to me the other day, she was like, oh, thinking of starting a Substack. And I was like, oh, you should go for it. She was like, oh, I don't want to gatekeep my thoughts. And I was like, damn, you got to coin that one. I got my phrase, she got her phrase. You can't gatekeep your thoughts. Yeah, it might be hard to talk about it. It might be hard to write about it, but gatekeeping is a sin. So, come on, guys. I'm done rambling. Put your stuff out there and have a lovely day. Wish me luck for my game. Peace.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Reasons Podcast. Make sure to tune into the next episode.